Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Netherkast. This is episode 126. I am your host, Razor, and with me this time is Shad and Smokeman. And tonight, we are here to talk about the release of the Mortal Kombat 11 DLC, Combat Pack 2, Mileena, Rain, and Rambo. How you guys doing?
I am doing fine.
I am most pleased. I've been reading a lot of Hellboy this week since we watched a movie last week.
Yes, we watched Sword of Storms. It's animated Hellboy, but it has Ron Perlman and Selma Blair. Is that the lady's name?
Yes, that's it.
Right. Well, it was a good movie. I recommend it.
I didn't finish it. I fell asleep.
Yeah, you're a pussy. We all know. So...
Fuck you, Hobbit.
So, where do you guys want to start?
I guess, should we talk about Mileena first or last?
Well, let's see. The way I figure it is this. You can talk about that guy, and then talk about the two MK characters. You can talk about the two MK characters, then you can talk about that guy. It all depends when you want me to go for a cigarette break.
Okay, so... As the guy who likes the 80s movie characters, I don't have a lot to say about Rambo, but I do have one thing in particular to say. I think his face looks better than the characters that they used the face scan tech on. I think he makes a really good case that they should just model faces on their own and not be beholden to what real people look like. Actors-wise. Because if you use an actor, then eventually you're going to have to recast that guy. But if you model your own face, you could keep the same face if you had any fucking sense from game to game.
Yeah, and even in Rambo's case, Stallone does not look like he did in 1980.
No, Stallone's had a lot of plastic surgery, not for the better. If you want him to look like he did in First Blood, you have to model it by hand. I think he did a great job voice-wise, though.
There's some lines, yeah.
Kind of,
If
I was Arnold, I'd be embarrassed.
Yeah, I hope he is. I kind of hope that... They're, like, still friends, though, right? Like, I kind of feel that Stallone would give him shit over that.
Well, they are friends now. My understanding is that they were, more bitter rivals back in the day when they were both, the top of the box office competing.
I especially love the story behind Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. Where,
There's a story there?
There is a story there. So... The script was pitched to Arnold, and he hated it, but he wanted it to leak that he was interested in doing it. And so when Stallone heard that, he took the offer. So Arnold trolled him into being in a shitty movie.
Glorious.
He thought he was stealing a part from Arnold, and Arnold's like, I didn't want to be in that piece of crap. Gotcha!
There's a lot of Stallone stories instead of his inclusion in the game right now.
I want to talk about how disappointing it is that not a single one of his intros with Shao Kahn references Cobra.
Right? Fucking, for those who don't know, Brian Thompson, the guy who plays Shao Kahn in Annihilation, is the main villain in Cobra. And
it's a funny movie.
It's a great movie.
I would recommend that one.
Fucked. Well, Cobra is also like the height of Stallone's like fucking craziness.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories about his ego being out of control at that time in his life.
And I would say if you want to watch Cobra for Brian Thompson, don't go in expecting a lot, because Stallone cut out all his stuff because they needed to cut something, and he didn't want to cut things with him in it.
Yeah. He's like, we can't cut any of my scenes. I'm in those.
And he gives like a monologue at the end of the movie, Brian Thompson does, and he's like legitimately good. And they cut all of his stuff out. Like, there's a lot more. There's like an entire fucking like thing where there's like a rough cut of that movie, and there's a bunch of other shit that was deleted in there, and it's fucking weird. But I think my favorite story about Stallone and Cobra is his fucking big swinging titanium balls had the gall to ask the author of the original novel that Cobra's based on and have it re-released with Stallone penned as the author.
Because, see, he worked on the script of the movie. So you gotta re-release the book, but say I wrote the book.
That's
put my name on the cover of the book. Because...
like, there were scenes... In fact, that scene I mentioned where Brian Thompson gives his monologue, Stallone was not there that day because he wanted to watch basketball. So Brian was not playing off of Stallone's acting.
And he did just fine.
He did just fine, but everyone in production shit on him. When he went to the director and Stallone... to ask more about what his motivation is to really like sink his teeth into this character, they tell him, "You're evil because you're evil."
Your motivation is you're the bad guy. Get back to work.
Brian Thompson did a B-movie parody of The Expendables called The Extendables, and it is basically it revolves around a caricature of every major Hollywood like action star, and the guy in the movie is like a bumbling fuck up, like, you know, has a tremendous ego, puts a pair of socks down his pants to make his penis look bigger, and like according to Brian Thompson, all of this is based on stuff he actually saw and experienced while working with these big shots in Hollywood. So I recommend watching that. It's pretty.
I wonder if there's any stories for Annihilation in there.
I doubt it on account of who was a big star in Annihilation.
I mean, maybe there's some guy doing coke off in the back. I don't know.
Table full of producers doing coke. Odds are that might be an Annihilation anecdote.
It's not impossible. I'll grant.
But there's not. Anyway.
But, back to him in the game. I think he's kind of fun.
I'll say two things about him. That's all you get, too. I like the fact that, like, during his outros and whatnot, they kind of made the eyes a little bit glassy to give him that kind of 1,000-yard stare effect going on. That's a really nice touch. Second off is that the AI for Rambo kind of works in the same way it does when, like, Gira stares at his fist and Fujin just floats in midair and runs back and forth. And that,
they did kind of patch the Fujin run so that he won't just run forever. Sometimes he'll actually do the dive kick.
A little bit. But the thing is, Rambo likes to do push-ups. He gets down and he gets back up again.
I have seen him get down and not get back up again.
Sometimes he'll just stay down there. It's the funniest shit.
The only way to get him to stand back up is to attack him.
But yeah, that's all you get out of me. Fuck Rambo.
I like him. I mean, I don't...
I think he's really fun. Like,
I like that they made a Stance character, or another Stance character, because I like Stance characters, and I think there should be more of them.
I mean, I am sad there is no PTSD Stance.
He's a PTSD character. What more do you want? He just stands there and starts screaming.
I wish that his friendship was just that he curls up in a ball and cries.
Well, like...
Speaking of, his friendship is actually fucking godlike. I did not expect that.
The laser tag?
Yeah, the laser tag is a pretty clever idea, actually.
I mean, like, my problem with it, apart from the usual fact that I hate guests, is, First Blood's a great movie, then it devolved into a series of shitty second-rate, and that's what this is celebrating, not the original characters, so I can't get behind it. I even look at RoboCop as a stupid joke, but this seems tacky.
I don't know. I mean, if Michael Corleone was a
it.
guest character, it would be silly, but no sillier than anything else in 2020 media. Like, there are no sacred cows anymore.
Much to my lament.
I really like his one victory pose where he gets in the helicopter and then you see it fly off against the sun. They did a really good job with like the bloom of the light coming from the sun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how easy or difficult that is to animate. Seems like it would be harder than it looks. So I mean,
visually, this game's a treat. It really is. Many, many points. I feel like they've actually kind of gone above and beyond with a few of these intros lately. I really like Rain's. Rain's exits and intros are really nice.
The intros and win poses are like the only thing that's keeping me coming back. That's the only reason why I would want more characters, because that's the best addition to this game. And it should be status quo moving forward, like intros are now.
Well, in terms of like animations, intros, outros, mid-round poses, the quotes, the costumes, the art direction of Rambo, and also RoboCop, I think they are both far more respectful and reverent and have more like references to the source material. You can tell there was a lot more love and care put in than you look at Terminator, and he basically has two skins. And one of them is from Dark Fate, and nobody wanted that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like
an Italian product. It wasn't. Ugh.
I'm a lot happier with a guest character when they put that much effort into it, as opposed to when it's like, we're not really Jason fans. Here's the bare minimum Jason. You know?
Oh, for fuck's sakes. But they're really big Chainsaw Massacre fans, I guess.
What? I mean, there's no accounting for taste.
Developing and creating the guys, they do deserve a standing ovation for a lot of that. Spawn especially. I can't do it. I just can't.
Yeah, it's a topic that's been done to death.
Let's move on. What else did you guys like about Rambo? Go on, go nuts.
He's fun.
He's certainly got a unique playstyle. I like that they got creative.
Yeah, I like that he's like I love the move where he just rips out two fucking M60s from the ground and just goes at it.
I think just like the whole core design where they sort of leaned away from guns except when he has the machine guns out, like his main play style is knife and bow and arrow and all the cool jungle trap setting stuff. I think that the thing is, NRS does good things in their games so rarely that I really want to be positive and give them the nod for pulling this one off. We get a lot of shit for being negative. I would argue that they deserve our negativity, but when they do something right, it's not like we're ignoring it. At least I'm not ignoring it. I wanna tip the hat. They did a good job with Rambo, regardless of your feelings of whether or not Rambo should be a character in a Mortal Kombat game.
I can agree with that. And actually, typically, man, I'm more positive about these last couple of games than you've been. I mean, yes, I hate a lot of stupid story bullshit like all that Sindel crap, but I can't say I don't like how the stages look, like how the characters play for the most part. I have some major fucking problems with like the single player mode in its entirety because it was plainly developed by a guy whose specialty was mobile gaming to get you to buy time crystals. Oh god, it's such a grind. But I mean, I like playing as the characters. I like how they look. I like most of their costumes. I think that generally speaking, they do a lot more great than they do bad. It's that when they do bad, it just really stands out and sticks out.
So, Rain next?
Yes, God.
Yes.
Let's talk about Rain. I want to talk about Rain. It's fucking great. In almost every way imaginable. I love him. I know that Smokeman wasn't sold on the guitar as a weapon, but I'm really, really enjoying it. Like,
I still think
a long sword from Armageddon.
Like, I don't hate it, but I still think it's superfluous. I don't think he needed one.
He doesn't need it. It's just gear for the sake of gear. I don't think it really adds a whole lot. Like I like it. I like the crushing blow where like he stabs you in the arm and like he opens it and
yeah, that's painful to look at.
Like, that's cool.
You know, I will say this: as if you're going to give Rain a weapon, I think that they picked one that fits his character. It's not like Noob Saibot with the troll hammer. You know, it is
exactly
within the ballpark of Rain imagery. I just don't think he needed a weapon, that's all.
He really doesn't.
True, but if they were gonna, this is a really solid choice.
As far as costumes go, I really like the one that's like hooded that has the Acme on it.
Yeah,
yes,
I've been using that
Son of Argus skin. That's what I'm currently using as his primary.
Yep.
Oh wait, no. You mean the the V that has kind of like the pilot-ish helmet thing going on?
It's
with the belts on the hood, yeah.
It's a baggy hood and it's got studded belts around it. Yeah.
I'm actually using the other one, the one that has the one shoulder pauldron that looks kind of quasi Black Panther-esque and has like the large hood.
I'm not a fan of that. That looks too Injustice.
I actually find it's.
Yeah,
it looks proper Edenian. It doesn't like hit that Injustice mark for me.
I don't know. It looks like ninjas in space to me.
Like it legit looks like something that Injustice 2 sub would be wearing.
I can't see it, you know? Like, I feel like this is maybe a decent interpretation of, like, Edenian ninja attire. I enjoy it.
I don't know. It reminds me of Stargate. It's like aliens mixed with Egypt.
Well, it works better if you don't give him one of those silly full face masks, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's specifically because it doesn't form an actual ninja V, because one is an actual piece of cloth going up, but the other side is like part of his like armor.
He has like a breastplate armor, and then he has a single sash
that looks the same way. Like,
yeah, it looks like the sash is also made of armor.
No, it's not. It's pretty.
It's got all these gold zigzagging trim pieces on it.
I really enjoy it. I think the angular vibe of it reminds me of Annihilation Rain in a way.
I think it would be good if you simplified it. I think it's too busy, but the underlying idea is not a bad one. Which is kind of my critique of the art style of 11 in a nutshell. These costumes are not bad ideas, they're just all too busy.
I'm not the biggest fan of his primary. They try to do the Ninja V in like it's a trench coat. Yeah, I don't think it works.
I like it.
He's got this thing on his chest. I don't know what that's supposed to be or.
See,
I don't know. That's more of that Egyptian-looking jewelry thing they were going for.
You're saying, Shad?
I was going to say, if you tell me that one thing looks Stargate-ish out of this whole getup, I think that's the one that gets my my vote. It seems so overtly Egyptian in style, with a little bit of sci-fi.
Honestly, most of his skins, I would say, it seems like Rain's entire aesthetic was Stargate. I
think
the Son of Argus skin is the
I
most
like it.
simple and ninja-y, and doesn't really feel outer space at all.
I like the shirtless one. That one's pretty cool.
Yeah, the shirt one's okay too. Kind of reminds me of MKX.
Wait, the shirtless one?
With the sash over his shoulder.
But then he's got those weird horns on top of his head.
That also reminds me of MKX.
I think that's actually my least favorite one out of them all.
Really?
Yeah.
That's my second favorite.
I actually, well, if I had to pick out a complaint with the primary that stops me from using it, I don't like the purple beanie on the back of his head.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, if his hood was just a black hood all the way over, I don't know why it needs that purple wrapped part sticking out the back.
Plus,
that just kind of looks silly.
I don't know about the shade of purple on the primary, like the Son of Argus one and the Weathered by Combat one. The purple is more vibrant, but the one in the primary, it's like darker. And
it's an indigo bluish purple, yeah.
It's not really what I think of when I think of Rain.
There are other things I don't like about the shirtless one. That little silly cloud design on his abs. And you know what? It kind of looks like he's wearing sneakers a little bit. It's odd.
His boots are kind of weird. Like, I would not have put him in pants that show off his shins like that. The capri pants would not have been my go.
I'm just noticing that. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I like the rings, though. The rings are nice.
But, I don't know. I like it because it's kind of Greekish, which fits the Argus aesthetic. Like Argus, Taven, and those two kind of always looked kind of Greek, and Argus and Rain story-wise, obviously there's a lot of parallels to Zeus and his many bastard half-human offspring.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll stick with the Denny and Techno Ninja. Thanks.
As far as how he plays, I'm kind of conflicted.
I will say I am disappointed that not only did they nerf the bubble, but it's still 2 pips.
And so is the lightning, which means
you can't put them both on the same moveset.
I kind of saw that coming. I'm sad about it, but I saw it coming. Like, he always was a little bit overpowered.
And
what tier was he in 9? I'm sure he wasn't that high up.
He was not that high up.
I thought it was pretty nasty.
He wasn't fucking broken like Cabal, Cyrax, and Kenshi.
Cabal's just another word for saying broken. That doesn't count.
But yeah, it seems like a lot of the swaggier shit that you can do, it only gives you about like 20 or 30%. And you have to use 2 bars all the time. It's fucking weird. It seems to me if you use the roundhouse, it kind of scales your combo really badly. Which is, in my opinion.
There's a definite attempt to tone down known high-powered, high-combo characters, like Cabal. Rain's another example. If Cyrax makes it, you better believe the same thing's happening.
Well, that's fucking lame, man.
There's a difference between toning them down and making them fucking useless.
I wouldn't say useless, but...
Well, I would really like to see
nothing.
if anybody in the top 8 of a tournament is using Rain. Or Mileena, frankly. Her damage didn't feel great to me either, but I didn't have that much playtime with her.
The 2 of them, I feel like Rain is maybe capable of a lot more. Like, I feel like good Mileena combos will be corner stuff, because of, like, her cancelable air side that makes you crazy shit with afterwards. I feel like, apart from that, that might be it. Considering the fact that you can only really combo with the goddamned 1 meter of super roll ball. I'm not a fan of that. I really am not.
I thought it was kind of odd that when you meter burn her ball, she just rolls a second time, and the roll that left the ground from MK9 is a gear move.
Yeah.
Was that 9 or 10? I think
That was
next.
9. That was 9. That was 9.
Was it 9? Huh.
That was 9.
It's the
on.
rolling thunder, they call it.
Moving on to, I guess, his sort of cinematics.
Well, there's other stuff, though. Like, what special moves have you guys got equipped? Because I took off the little hand jet thing. I've never been a huge fan of that. It seems kind of silly to me.
Well, I
don't use it in this game because I think it animates bad. I think it looked cooler in 9. The way he kind of stuck his hand out. In this one, he looks like he's like pushing someone away. It's weird.
I'm using the dash boost. I feel like this is going to be the tool of choice, although it's banned in competitive use.
I kind of like that the jet looks like he's pushing you with the water rather than like hurting you with it, because
I wish it just had better animation. I don't like how it looks.
I don't know. It doesn't bother me.
Posing.
Some characters I will pick moves, or like I'll pick for my first variation the ones that feel the best to use, and then for every variation after that I'll try to theme them. So like I have an Armageddon build for Rain, which is the jet hand and the lightning. And then my first build for Rain has the bubble, and I'm still trying to decide what to pair it with. Right now I've got those purple and yellow lightning bolts. The quantum slice.
I do like the visual effects on that.
I have the water bubble and the tidal wave on. This move where he kind of like punches the ground and makes a bunch of waves like pop up.
Right.
And kind of blast them away. I do like the move where he like kind of does what the roundhouse does, but he blasts water in the air as like an anti-air. I like that move.
I need to give it more of a try. I haven't spent too much time putzing around with stuff, but like once I saw that dash buff, I knew I had to start using it. I like to do I'm a fan of the whole hit and run style of gameplay, so that's right up my alley.
I haven't I mean, it's not that I haven't given him a thorough try. It's that whenever I play him, I default to using the roundhouse a lot.
Me too.
So I'm not really, like, judging the gear moves, because I'm not getting much use out of them.
Mm-hmm. The anti-air, like, water jet, that doesn't replace the kick. You can use them at the same time.
And the roundhouse isn't so much an anti-air move in this game at all. It just launches him forward.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, so cinematics and stuff we wanted to talk about next.
Yes, he has the best classic wind pose in the game.
He gets a lot of use out of it, too.
Yeah, he's using the UMK3 pose so much that I almost regret asking for it so hard.
No, I don't regret it at all. I've missed it, and I'm glad it's here.
I mean, he's got it in an intro, and in an ending, and in his brutality pose.
Mm-hmm. I enjoy that. It seems like ever since Trilogy that everyone just kind of decided that pose was Rain's, even though Reptile did it first.
Yeah, Reptile doesn't need it.
Exactly.
It
that's
looks
what I'm
more like what you do with your hands if you were summoning the rain.
Yeah, I think that's why organically
is that I'm glad that people have chosen that to be Rain's thing and not Reptile's. Because I was glad to see that back in 9.
Initially, I was much more a fan of Reptile having it because it looked kind of all, I don't know, I guess menacing, alien, and reptilian. Because I really couldn't stand the fact that in MK2, Reptile would just hold up 2 fists like, yeah! It looked weird. It wasn't right. Like, you can make the case that, like, Sub-Zero and Scorpion were, being, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for here? Scorpion looks self-satisfied when he has, like, his hands on his hips. And Sub-Zero's plainly doing some sort of like Lin Kuei salute. The fuck's Reptile doing? He's just being so happy.
Yeah, he's just, hooray, I won a match! That never happens!
But no, in the intervening years since, I've become quite used to seeing Rain using it, and I'm glad it's here.
I will say, like, his other win poses are just as good, though. I really like the one where he roundhouses the water drops.
That's so sick. That's the second best one.
Yep. I like the brutality pose where he gets the water thrown. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also,
he oozes style in this game.
I like the intro where he makes like this like circle of water around him. I think that might be my favorite of his.
It's interesting. The water looks kind of weird in that one. It's like
I do agree.
Thicker and like a teal color. It kind of looks like a blue T1000.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
It's a little odd.
I don't know about the portal though. That's weird.
I'm fine. Well, the portal's made of water. It's a water portal.
Oh, okay. He's
been teleporting in water puddles on the ground for many games now.
Well, it's just like those are portals. He's like materializing himself.
Well, look, the portals in his moves that are like purple and yellow are weird, but the intro portal is just a whirlpool of water in the air.
I guess.
I didn't dissect it that much. I'm actually watching AI Rain play now currently. Have you guys noticed he occasionally does like that crazy trilogy combo where he roundhouses like a couple of times, juggles back and forth?
I have noticed that he.
That's a brutality.
No, like in combos. In MK Trilogy, Rain had a really nasty infinite where like he could roundhouse, punch, roundhouse, punch. The AI does shit that reflects that every so often. I've seen it do it twice. I feel like it's maybe intentional. It's a nice touch if so.
Well, that's what I was saying. I think that's the inspiration for the roundhouse brutality, where he just keeps on kicking you.
I don't know that I've actually seen that one yet. I've seen the one where he roundhouses your head off and it lands back back on top of the stump.
That's a good one.
I love that one. Heart and soul. That's great.
I will. I would like to point out that Damashi in our Discord has commented that the water portal intro looks like a Stargate.
Didn't say you were wrong.
He's on point with that one.
I think we need to talk about the Prince references. All of the Prince references.
Well, before we get there, can we talk about that second fatality?
Okay, I guess that's a natural segue into that, yes.
Okay, the moment where the missing ninjas flash on the screen reenacting the Queen album cover.
And you get a nice 4-chord guitar riff.
It's nice, but I think it begs the question if... I get like a joke character vibe from him now.
I kind of always did. It's how he started out, so I don't particularly find myself objecting to it.
True.
Sometimes fun should be allowed.
What I find strange about it is that clearly, if you follow it on Twitter, you know exactly what it's a reference to. But how many people actually have seen that fan art of the 4 ninjas in the Queen album cover pose?
There's going to be some confused people out there.
Yeah, how many people are going to be like, why is he referencing Queen? I thought he was a reference to Prince.
If they're smart, they'll just go, Queens, princes, royalty, who cares?
It seems a little inside baseball to me.
It's going to be weirder when, like, Reptile, Ermac, and Smoke make it into this game.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Yes, it is.
We've got 5 spots left. Who are they going to give them to?
Not them. I don't know.
running out of places. Running out of characters. I mean, they're not going to do 3D era characters. That's not happening.
I can tell you right now. I can tell you right now. It's not going to be fucking Takeda like every leak has said. Every fake leak has said.
I would certainly believe Takeda more than I would Hotaru or Ashura.
Those aren't real choices. It's true.
I mean, look, I will maintain that I think they should use the remaining slots to finish out the trilogy roster. They're already this far in. Just wrap it up.
I would like the Cybers and Striker.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? Sadly, I don't think that Striker has any kind of real chance.
No.
Oh, no, not now.
There's going to be plenty of comments to this video where people are like, I don't want Striker, he uses guns. There's too many gun characters already.
Why have Striker when you can have the furniture of law enforcement?
Anyway, we can now talk about the intros, the references.
This is what we asked for, and I'm so happy. Everyone is hilariously cheesy, and it's wonderful. And my favorite one is where Jax tells him to stay the hell away from his daughter, and he's like, in a mocking tone, I never meant to cause you any sorrow. He's so full of smarm and shit in a lot of his intros, and I like that. Mm-hmm. I really do. He doesn't come across as, like, cowardly as I was always anticipating he would be. But I guess they kind of, like, lost that aspect of the character.
I think that part would clash with the I am a god, bow down part.
Mm-hmm. There are bits of dialogue where, like, I forget who it was, but, like, someone says, oh, you ran away from a fight, so it's still kind of there.
Yeah, but I just think that in terms of his attitude, before he found out Argus was his dad, he's probably more prone to be cowardly, whereas now he's more boastful.
See, what else did
how do you feel about his voice?
You know, it's grown on me. When the trailer first came out, I was expecting him to have that gargling voice from MKX, so the way he sounded took me by surprise, and it took a while to warm up, but it feels natural now.
I'm kind of glad we ditched the gargliness. I was not a fan.
Yeah, the problem with the gargle is, like, you go back to MKX and you listen to Tremors intros, you can barely tell what he's fucking saying half the time.
That's
Sometimes putting a filter on a guy's voice to make them sound supernatural does not work out for the best.
I like Tremors' filter. I like his voice.
There are points, though, with a lot of his dialogue, where I don't know if it was if it's a recording problem, something that they need to patch, maybe, but he's very quiet sometimes.
I feel that way with Spawn.
It happens every so often.
I think that's just...
With Rain, I've been noticing it a few times.
In Spawn's case, that's just Keith David's low register. Maybe your TV isn't picking up the bass.
Maybe.
I haven't had any problems with Rain's volume, but I also I might have a problem with the whole game's volume, because I turn it up pretty high when I actually want to hear it.
My settings are... Looking at them now. I have everything set to 100 except for effects at 75 and dialogue at 85. Maybe that's a part of it. But I hear most people just fine.
Well, given the crap music in this game, that's the one I would turn down. I would have dialogue all the way up.
I really think that the music in this game is much better than it's been the past
Well, better than it's been doesn't mean good.
No, dude, come on. Dan Ford and Sea of Blood.
I still think of the past 4 games, by that I mean including the Injustices, the only track I like is the Crossroads from X.
That is really bizarre to hear.
I mean, 9 had plenty of good ones because it had remixes and remakes of the original trilogy songs, but nothing has stuck with me except for the Crossroads, and the Crossroads only has because it has those vocals that remind me of Stages in Deception.
I would put MK11 soundtrack as a solid 7.5 out of 10. And if that sounds like a bad compliment or a backhanded one, it really isn't meant as such. But that says in the face of that, I would have put MKX's at like a 3.
I don't know. Like, I have really high standards for video games because I'm not going to compare Mortal Kombat to the other Mortal Kombats. I'm going to compare Mortal Kombat to video game music, of which there are some all-time classics. Like, you look at Mega Man 2 or the Street Fighter, like the famous ones that go all the way back to Street Fighter 2 that they're still using. Fucking Final Fantasy music. There are so many good, catchy songs throughout the history of gaming, and Mortal Kombat has honestly always fucking slacked. Like, there are good tracks here and there. We use many of them as the opening themes and end credits musics in our podcast. But if I was going to number things, I'd be like, okay, MK2 gets a 7, and MK11 gets a 4 out of 10.
I cannot be on board with that. I really can't. I mean, MK2 I'd also probably give like an 8. Three's probably a 9 for me, actually. 3's my favorite soundtrack out of the whole thing.
Three's the one that had where they were trying to get like the techno dance music in there, so yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, if we're going to put other game music on this very same scale, probably much lower. I guess I'm just speaking within the confines of MK music because I
guess
if I had to give the Street Fighter 2 soundtrack and all its incarnations a score on this, it's a fucking 25, yo.
Yeah.
I'm much more forgiving, I guess, than a lot of people when it comes to MK's music. Some people are like, MK's music sucks. They should, like, make it, like, I don't know, organ beats or, like, hip-hop or trip-hop or something, or, like, put the Wu-Tang Clan in it. I'm like, no. Just because you like it doesn't mean it suits MK. Not to shit on your choice in music, but orchestral stuff works for this game.
What I would go back to is, I mean, obviously you want music that fits the stage, so, like, not every stage is an urban one, not every stage needs that MK3 style techno. But if you're fighting on a city street, I want to hear the techno. And if you're fighting in most of these stages, first of all, I want the stages to look more oriental than they currently do, and second, I want them to sound like MK1.
I feel like I've had to pick a single track that I would like, that I feel best represents what the optimal Mortal Kombat song would be. It's probably the Temple in MK3. Dark, ominous, melodic, catchy.
I think the thing about both the temple as a stage and the music in the temple is that that's very... I mean, that design is a Christian church. So you're getting those traditional Western Gothic archetypal
I don't know if I'd say
stuff.
Christian church, because there's some MK dragons in that thing.
Well,
man.
yeah, but just because you slap the logo on some stuff doesn't make it not Jesus Town.
I mean, obviously, this depends on the scope of the game. I'm just giving that track as an example. Like, if it's an MK1 game, of course I want things to sound more like Chinese in scope. Obviously.
Well, I mean, like, again, the right sound for the right stage. If you're fighting in, like, the Bone Temple in this game, you should have music that sounds like the MK3 church. That aesthetic fits there.
Coming back to my bone.
But we're getting super sidetracked here. Rain.
Yes, we are. Sorry. Can we talk about MK's music? I'm there for days.
Well, so I don't know how much more you guys want to say about Rain before we move on to Mileena. I only have one more thing that I want to pick out that amuses me. he has a specific shoulder pad gear.
Uh-oh.
It's called Pacifist Battle Wrap? Something like that? It looks like his face. Or the mask he wore in MKX in shoulder pad form. That's
another thing.
Oh my god, it is him.
Now that we're talking about gear, I am not interested one single bit in any of his gears.
I do think every mask but the first one looks terrible.
The only one I'm going to be using is the Doctor Doom one.
I am waiting for the retro skins because masks that I will equip other than the first.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy the futuristic version, that outfit. The one I have equipped on that is His Majesty. And it's a pretty good fit. Most of it, though, I can really take or leave. I don't like any of the full face masks at all.
I don't know. All of his masks look kind of techy. They remind me of Scarlet's masks.
I do appreciate that there's an unmasked version available from the get-go.
Again,
for those that like that kind of thing, it's nice of them.
I feel like you can see him with his hood off in his arcade ending, and obviously there is a maskless mask. I feel like they kind of went the boring route by making him completely clean-shaven.
That's wrong.
I would have liked to see some hair and maybe a mustache or goatee. Maybe like a little pencil-thin Prince-style mustache, you know?
I just think it's still really fucked how they didn't give him any veils like in 9 and X, and even then they didn't bother giving him any ninja masks with those designs on it. That's fucked to me.
Mileena doesn't have any loose hanging veils either.
Oh, we'll get to Mileena.
Talking about a lot of veils once these purple people show up, ain't we?
Yeah.
Well, they have worn them in the past, and what a surprise that we would want their gear to look like costumes from the past.
Here's something. Raid has a bunch of Destiny shit. Like, all this shit where their face is completely covered and they can't fucking see. Now, you can get away with this with a Cassie, because you can say, it's like an Iron Man visor. But they don't have that fucking technology in Outworld. Raid can't fucking see.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with a few of these.
It's that space alien stuff. They need to stop. I just wanted to point out that this one pauldron looks like his fucking mask, because it's the only pauldron I like.
Because narcissism.
I think it's funny, and it actually looks like something. And none of his other pauldrons look like anything. He doesn't even have the nice, simple one from 9 that had the raindrop symbol on it.
Why would they do that? That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, why, when you have 30 slots for gear, would you spend any of them on recreating past outfits? Why would you do that? That would be crazy, right?
Once the retro comes along, I'm going to guess he's going to have an empty slot for the pauldron.
No.
Look at him again.
You're wrong. People found things in the files. He gets another pauldron. It's just simple and BMX looking.
Well, that's stupid and disappointing. Hey, if you want some comic relief, put one of those full face masks on him and then put the outfit with the horns on him. Looks like a space beetle.
I can see what they're going for with the Doctor Doom style full face mask. They're trying to make him look like the Persian soldiers from 300.
Oh, dudes. We're looking at this right now. Okay, put the eyeball mask on and give him the skin, which is called... Oh, where the fuck is it? Hang on. Gotta find it.
don't have the eyewall mask.
Fuck. Okay, hang on. 2 seconds.
But
Are you shitting me? He does not actually have one. I'm sure he did. Okay, the outfit you guys like, where he's got like the traditional V ninja shape going on.
Mm-hmm.
I swear to God, if you put that thing on and you put the eyeball mask on, he looks like a take on Cobra Commander. It's the same type of fucking hood around his face.
Huh.
I kind of like it.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're kind of right. I like purple Cobra Commander.
There you go. Found a use for it for you.
But
I'm still wondering how he's seeing out of this fucking thing.
he doesn't.
Edenia space magic. There you go.
No, fuck that. we're not entertaining that shit. But I do have to say, I think a lot of people kind of felt an absence of the ninjas in this game. And playing Rain right now against Scorpion, it is really nice having him here.
It just makes me want Ermac and Reptile more.
Ermac, man. Yeah. As long as they don't show his fucking face, man, they can't do more of that shit.
I'm gonna just end off with one for Rain, at least for one thing. Not necessarily a defense of these weird-ass full-face masks that they seem to enjoy giving him and Katana. For a long time now, people have been saying that, the Edenians need more fleshing out, that we don't have that much of a window into their culture and their aesthetics, and I kind of feel like maybe all these ornamental masks are an attempt to move in that direction. I don't know if it's the best thing that they could have done, but
well, look, if you're going the
attempt.
Persian route, that's always, like, since Armageddon, since he got his own look, that's always kind of been Rain's thing, was Middle Eastern stuff. Somewhere between Aladdin and Prince of Persia. So, all of that, I'm okay with. But the Outer Space Destiny stuff doesn't belong anywhere in any realm except maybe Sado. I don't think the artists designing these things are actually thinking about, like, trying to create realm cultures. I think they just went to a college that taught them to make Destiny games, because that's what was selling when they went to college. And now they're fresh out, and they're interns, and those are the skills they possess. That's all they know how to do.
Painful and dismissive. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt and say if it is something, I appreciate the attempt. It doesn't always work. If you put the Crashing Thunder mask on him right now, the borders of the mask are over his eyes. He's not seeing anything through this. That's pretty bad. Anyway.
I just wish they'd stop with the space stuff. It doesn't feel to me like a big ask. Does it feel like too much to ask to you? Am I being demanding? Is it out of the ordinary to want fantasy characters to look like fantasy characters and not science fiction characters?
If this stuff was like just on Rain, I'd be like, hey, you're being a bit harsh, but there's no good reason that Cassie needs any of this shit either. I do get where you're coming from.
I mean, Cassie and Jackie are the two characters that you could excuse the shit on, because
I can't.
They do
really
come
can't.
from a science-based background with the special forces. Some of it...
Yes, but why are they wearing spacesuits?
Yeah, some of it
are they
looks
in space?
Silly. Like,
we never said that it looked good. Yeah, we just said that it can be excused.
The problem with them is not that it's inappropriate, it's that it looks bad.
I actually don't give it even that, really. They're a division of the U.S. Army. They're not astronauts. I fucking hate all that Cassie space outfit stuff. I really do.
We're in the same boat.
I mean, the only outfits I have equipped on Cassie are the quote-unquote classic one with the windbreaker, and the quote-unquote classic one without the windbreaker.
Yeah, pretty much same thing from here. And for some reason, I decided to go for the faux MK1 retro.
And
there's just there's no excusing it when it's on Collector or Rain.
Does Collector have sci-fi shit? I don't know.
Well,
No, he has a skin that's a full face mask that covers his eyes and he can't see.
Yeah, but it's more like just a decorative gold thing than it is. It doesn't look sci-fi. It just looks way too fancy.
Yeah, that looks like an ornamental mask of some sort he's wearing because he's greedy and he owns it.
I don't know. It does look like...
I need them to be able to see, man. That's my point.
Like, eye holes, yes. I get where you're coming from. Absolutely. But the rest of the design of that mask fits within his, like, he looks like Shiva and Vishnu. It looks like that jewelry from India kind of look. Which is fine. Just, yes, eye holes, please.
About Rain's ending, because it's fucking great.
We can talk about Rain's ending. Rain's ending gives his mom a name for the first time. I'm always a fan of when they actually name background characters in the franchise.
Yes, it's nice calling her, what is it, Amara?
It's Amara.
As opposed to the mortal woman that Argus got busy with.
The mortal
Rain's
woman,
mom.
yes. Now we have a proper name for her.
And we also have a lot more insight into how Rain feels about his mom.
Well,
and about, how that kind of ties in with his motivations, his drive, and it's another justified reason as to why he hates the fuck out of Argus so much. And I like it.
Sure.
I find myself really enjoying it.
I would not necessarily confuse that with Rain becoming a good guy. Like, just because Argus is an asshole doesn't mean Rain's not an asshole.
No, not saying that, but it's nice to have more insight into the reasons he's angry.
I think
I do not. Rain's a lot of things. A good person is not one of them.
Yeah, that's a heel versus heel feud for sure.
Yeah, I do enjoy how Taven and Dagon also make an appearance in this ending.
Drowning.
It's as shallow an appearance as when they showed up in Kenshi and Takeda's endings in X.
Yeah.
It's a whatever, man.
They certainly are showing them off a bit, though.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, he mentions them by name in a lot of his intros. This is a lot of play that two characters who they don't like are getting.
One thing, I haven't listened to all of his intros yet, but there's a lot of them that I'm seeing where he's actually campaigning for freeing Edenia, which seems out of
hold on. He campaigns for it, and then the person he's talking to immediately goes, "Yeah, so you can put yourself on the throne."
That's the whole point of it. Rain's a liar. He's a liar, and he's a coward, and he's an asshole, and he's always been. These are the kinds of things he will say, not because he means them, but because it'll get him allies.
I want to remind people that whether or not it is canon in 11, it is canon in most of the games that Rain betrayed the Edenian resistance because Shao Kahn offered him more. He doesn't give a fuck about his people, he gives a fuck about having power.
11's bio doesn't specifically mention the one that 9 gave him, but there's still plenty of time for it to work.
Retcons that one, I think.
It doesn't.
No, there's nothing that says he didn't work for Kahn.
No, that's not what I'm saying. One of the retcons was in 9, it was stated that he was denied his own command, which is why he turned against them. And then his 11 bio says that he was one of their
No, he didn't just want a command. He wanted command of the entire resistance. And they're like, no.
Well, yeah, the new one does say that he was, quote-unquote, a tactical genius in charge of his own unit.
No. The new weird thing, yeah.
That's
That's Reiko's thing.
Whatever, man. Those one-paragraph website bios weren't even written by Kittleson and Dom. They were written by interns who Kittleson and Dom told what to say. Kittleson doesn't even remember what Jade's bio says on the 11 website, because Jade's bio still says that her parents sold her into slavery. But Kittleson thinks the Dream Lady is Jade's mom, who is trying to save her and give her powers.
Oh my fucking god. That's so fucking trash.
Just don't listen. General rule of thumb, anything that comes from MK9 is not canon. Or anything that comes from 11, I mean, is not canon.
I mean, the first sentence is also true.
Well, there is stuff in 9 that is canon to X.
There's stuff in 11 that's also canon to 10.
But
I
11...
know that they like to say that
11
it's all
is not canon
stuff,
to itself.
They like to say that there's a lot, that this is its own timeline. Like, there's been an infinite amount. That's excuses to cover up all the fucking plot.
Yeah, it's every time you notice a retcon, it means that every game happened in its own separate timeline.
Uh-huh.
That's the equivalent of Lucy Lawless on The Simpsons going, anytime you notice something like that, a wizard did it.
Pretty much. There are so many fucking references between people like Kotal and Rain and Kotal and Mileena that directly reference all the shit that happened in X. You can't push that off as being anything else than an excuse.
What you have to understand is people are going to get confused because some intros are obviously directly referencing things that happened in a previous game, and then other intros are Devora saying, "I killed Jared." So you
have to invent some sort of bullshit excuse to make everything make sense.
Well, no, what you have to do is you have to understand that the only way for these to not confuse people is you can't pick and choose. You have to say blanket statement. You have to say all intros are non-canon. Some of the intros mean that events did happen in this timeline. This timeline resembles MKX in places, but it's still its own timeline.
You're giving this way more credit than it actually deserves.
No, I'm trying to simplify it because a lot of the casuals are going to say, well, if this intro is canon, then how come that intro is not canon?
Don't give them the benefit of the doubt. Don't. Just don't.
You need to make it clear to people that every single intro is irrelevant. Don't listen to the intros. They're filler. Most of them are gibberish, and then there's 25% that are like, hey, we do remember this thing that happened in the previous game. But that 25% doesn't mean intros are canon.
I don't know if it's 25%.
Intros are just for fun.
I feel like the percentage is significantly more than that.
It's really not.
So I don't buy that excuse for 1 second. And nobody should. They fucked up a lot of shit because they don't remember the details of their own plot, and this is a wide blanket justification.
Well, you have to... My attitude towards when they fuck up, it means the game's a wash.
I mean, nothing's perfect, but it would be nice if there was some kind of plot consistency.
If there are continuity errors, then I'm kicking you out. Mortal Kombat 11 is only canon to Mortal Kombat 11.
That's your way of making sense of it. I don't try to do that. I just acknowledge that they fuck up, and the intent seems to be to obviously...
Let me ask you, if you encountered an instance where something suddenly didn't make sense in the real world, like the Mandela effect, do you just go, okay, I guess my memories are wrong and go about your business? Or if you knew you lived in a fictional universe, wouldn't you go, wow, God is a bad writer?
Then I'd be Animal Man.
Yeah, basically.
I'd be Animal Man.
I think that's the thing. Like, in the real world, if something doesn't make sense, we assume that we're the ones who are wrong because the real world is expected to be real. In a fictional world where you know somebody's writing it, and sometimes the writers change or they get stuff wrong, you can't treat it the same way you would the real world. You can't just keep walking along and assume you're in the same universe.
I just look at half of the intros as being, mundane bullshit, but our approach to dealing with it is different. That's it. I don't disagree that most of those intros are just bullshit, but there's just too much there that takes up directly from X for me to discount it, It's whatever.
I just, when they successfully reference X in an arcade intro, all I take that as is, hey, remember thing? It's nostalgia bait.
But then there's the fact that a lot of this game revolves around the fact that a lot of people that we know are dead, so they bring them from the past.
Yeah, but Tanya isn't really dead because the game ends in a reboot. It's a character being dead matters if it means you won't see them again. Tanya will totally be in future games. It's going to be a different universe from MK12 on.
I'm talking about from X. If the concept of it being its own thing was like that profound, that would be the mission statement. They wouldn't have even needed to take these plot points from X and bring all these dead losers back.
Well, let me ask you this. Is Mileena canon in MK11?
You don't consider any of the DLC canon, so why am I going to argue about that with you?
Well, no, see, I consider the DLC that appears in Aftermath canon because Aftermath is a story mode.
You're going to get a story mode.
Mileena's bio says, Kronika brought me back when she brought everybody else back. If that's true, then why don't we see her in story mode?
Because she was created after the game came out. Maybe there'll be another story mode that features her. You don't know that they won't. They say a lot of things. A lot of people out there believe that Ultimate's the last edition. You know it's not. I'm not going to go running off my mouth about what's canon or what's not here. Not in terms of DLC characters.
Well, let me ask you this then. Was Triborg canon?
Yes, he was a thing that the Special Forces created, and he was absolutely not Sector, Cyrax, or Smoke, and he doesn't fucking matter. He's a thing that exists in the universe as much as the male chameleon is.
Are you sure he exists? What proof is there that he was built and that Cassie and Jackie fought him?
He's got a bio. He's a thing that someone created, and he's utterly irrelevant to the rest of the story.
Well, not a single person...
Is Meat canon?
Meat
Does it fucking matter? Can we move on to Mileena, please?
Alright. Meat might be canon. I can't say whether he is or not. He does technically appear in Conquest, but I can't say for sure that every character in Conquest is canon. So yeah, Mileena.
If we could.
Smokeman, you had some...
Would you care to start us off?
Okay. I really like Mileena in this game. I love her costumes, except for one. I really love all the new moves she got. I especially love the command grab where she just stabs you in the face a bunch. And then you meet her, burn it, and she checks her nails and stabs you one more time for good measure. Obviously, the teeth look fucking great in this game.
On the subject of the teeth, not exactly about the teeth, but related to it, I wanted to point out that I really like how they did her eyes in this game.
Yes, they're not the cat eyes anymore.
No, her pupils are slits if you look really close, but it's hard to tell because the way they modeled the eyes, like in 9 and X, they kind of glow, especially in 9. They glow hot yellow-orange. And it's really, really noticeable. Makes it too clear that she's not Kitana, That's kind of the consistent issue we have with her eyes being different from Kitana's, is it ruins her ability to put on a mask and disguise herself as her sister. So, years ago, I drew some fan art of Mileena after 9 came out, where I was trying to split the difference, give her something between the yellow cat eyes and Kitana's brown eyes. And what I did was I made her eyes like sort of yellowish brown, and I made the whites of her eyes kind of yellowish white, like jaundice. Like I wanted her to look like sickly or diseased eyes instead of magic eyes. And I thought that was a good compromise. And that's exactly what they've done with her design in MK11. And I'm not saying they got it from me. I'm just saying I appreciate that they arrived at the same destination.
They look really good.
Yeah, I think it's a great improvement, because it does allow her to look like there's something wrong with her, that she, is a flawed clone, that she's part Kitana, part Tarkatan. But you have to look close to notice the difference. It's subtle. And I think that's the proper direction to go in.
I also really love her Sonic the Hedgehog fatality.
I think it's pretty silly, but that is
I think
kind
it's
of par for the course for a fatality. They're supposed to be silly.
I think it's a good kind of silly. I know Shad thinks it's a little too UMK3.
A little bit, yeah. I've come around to it, because it's about time that she had a fatality that involved the ball. Although I guess the brutality technically does count.
Yeah, but the brutality's lame.
I think if we were a few games ago, I would not want a fatality like this. But my opinion now is that I'm over fatalities. Like, I wouldn't mind if in future games we actually did away with the fatality and just had brutalities. So if we are going to have fatalities, if we're going to have these over-the-top elaborate cinematics as one option, and then a proper finisher as another option, which is what a brutality is, then sure, go weird and over-the-top and cartoony with the fatalities. That's a good outlet to get that out of your system.
The only approach that makes sense to me is to just eliminate all of the fucking 30-second cinematics entirely, because they just get old so quickly.
Well, I think that is sort of...
And call the brutalities that we have now the fatalities of the future.
I think what would help a lot is if you were to reduce the number of times, or the percentage chance that the AI will do a fatality. That way, people playing one player all day doing these towers would see the finishers less often and not get sick of them as quickly. I think that would be a big help.
It would just scrub them entirely. Like, they make the whole notion of killing someone this long, drawn-out, boring affair. And they should, like, I've always maintained that fatalities should be quick and to the point most of the time. And that's why I like brutalities, because they usually are. Well, I would just take today's brutality, rechristen it the official fatality, and move forward. If you have to forego the MK tradition where someone's standing dizzy for 5 seconds, sure, I can deal with that.
Philosophically, I agree with you completely. It's just that I don't see Ed Boon ever making that choice. I think he fucking loves these long, drawn-out cinematics. I think this is the most thing that he likes about his own product at this moment in time.
They need to die. They need to go away. I'm so tired of them. They're fun the first 5 times, and then after that, it's like, whatever.
I think
it's the same thing with Fables.
I think there are also like a lot of the casual fans consider the fatality and the big bombastic presentation of them that's currently there. They consider that the defining hallmark of the series, unfortunately. But to me, I think fatalities are Roman Reigns and Ed Boon is Vince McMahon.
I don't know what either of those two things are.
People listening they'll get the metaphor. That's good enough for me.
I know what the second one was. But if I remember right, Roman Reigns is the thing that just keeps getting pushed, despite the fact that no one wants it.
Yeah, the boss loves him and the fans aren't into it. I think we are those fans, and I think there are a lot of people out there who are in for fatals, but the rest of us have been with the series so long that we've done this song and dance several times, and it's getting repetitive, I think is what it is.
And to clarify, it's not the fact that you're killing people that's the problem. It's the fact that you're taking 20 seconds to do it.
Because obviously we love Brutals. We're talking up Brutals big this whole speech. We're saying, no, replace Fatals with Brutals. Brutals are the finisher that should be the main finisher.
Seriously. Wouldn't be MK if you couldn't murder people.
And I have said in the past that I am unimpressed with a lot of the new ideas for fatalities they come up with. I like the retro ones better, 9 times out of 10. And since now most of the old MK1 through 3 fatalities end up as Brutals, that just adds to the appeal of Brutals for me.
Which, by the way, if we can get back to Mileena, I love that they did the nail spit.
They did do the nail spit.
Things, I wasn't expecting it to come back, but you know what? After stuff like Cabal's scary face and whatnot coming back,
Jack
I should have seen
screwing.
it coming. I still can't believe they brought back Jack screwing. Holy shit.
It's great.
That's debatable, but okay.
It's great.
Not that.
In 3, it's stupid. In 11, it's great. But
it's still stupid.
I would like to point out...
Why it's great, sir.
Speaking of Mileena Brutals, I would like to point out that Mileena technically has 3 friendships in this game.
Yes.
She has her actual friendship. One of her brutality poses, the win pose, is looking at the mirror and the mirror shatters.
From UMK3.
Yeah. And then her stab your eye out on the ground move, stab, 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 stab. The brutality to that is she drops a seed in your eye and a flower grows out.
Like the MK2 one.
Like an MK2,
So
yes. So
She's
all of her
package.
friendships are in the game somewhere.
You know, we didn't talk about Rain's friendship at all.
That's
I have a
true.
question. I have a question. Who the fuck is the purple-haired girl?
I think it's supposed to be Mileena. It's got sharp
You
teeth.
think?
It's got sharp teeth.
Yeah,
It's the
because
fact
the
that they
heads
have
are
purple
Shao
throws me
Kahn,
off.
Kotal Kahn, and then girl with purple hair and sharp teeth. So if it's all
okay.
Khans, then it's Mileena.
I mean, they put
Fair
the
enough.
purple hair because they thought Mileena wears purple. That's
Yeah.
It really. I thought it might be Mileena, but it was throwing me.
It's a
But-
bad
but
choice.
being-
I'm not going to say that, you know.
They could have made the head look more like her, but I get it.
It being all cons makes a bit of sense, though. Anyways, just to put a quick addendum on that, I do like the fact that he gets this fishy, then he like races up a jet of water. It's cute. I gotta try that shit with his mask off. See the expression on his face.
I do
but
like
it's amazing.
I do like the fishy. What are your favorite costumes from Mileena? Because mine is the one where she looks like Katana.
You know, I've been sticking with the default most of the time.
Yeah, right now I'm waiting for the retros. I don't dislike any of her outfits, and believe me, I can go on and on and on about how much I dislike most of the characters in this game. So this is not that. I actually think they did a good job with all of Mileena's designs.
I don't like the
I
Tarkatan.
heard that, except
See, I kind of even like the Tarkatan one. I think, like...
I think if her hair was normal, I would be fine.
Well, no, see, because if she
I
was
hate the
raised
haircut.
in a Tarkatan tribe, I could even see her wearing her hair this way. I think it fits the aesthetic.
it's my second preference. I don't dig the shaved side of the head either, but I dig pretty much everything else about it. It's
I mean,
alright.
if I was dating a girl, I wouldn't want her to shave her head like this. But for the concept of if Mileena lived among the Tarkatans, I could see her doing it. It's in character. So it doesn't bother me. Also, like, I know there's a lot of people who think she looks dumb in her having her own Shao Kahn helmet. I wanted to see her wear a Shao Kahn helmet in MKX. I think if you are the Khan, you should have a Khan helmet. And I get that Kotal isn't going to wear it because he's got his Aztec aesthetic and the samurai thing would clash. But if Reiko takes the throne, put on the fucking helmet. If Mileena takes the throne, put on the fucking helmet. I have my evil version of Sindel, her skin, is wearing a skull mask. If you're a Khan, put on the fucking helmet.
I don't think it's the helmet that's bad, if at all. I feel like it just looks odd with the mask as well. It clashes somehow.
Well, I paired it with one of her masks that also looks like a skull.
I'll have to try creating something new then. See how that looks. I'm there right now.
Yeah, because for the Tarkatan skin, I have her maskless. For the Shao Kahn helmet, I have a skull jaw mask. For the one that looks like Kitana, I put her in the porcelain mask with lips. But mainly I use the default. And
I do want to say something about a few of her masks. There's a slight Hannibal Lecter thing going on.
There is. I kind of like the some of the masks, like where there's gaps, have bars.
Yeah. It's a nice little reference.
I think as in terms of gear, and with all the complaints that we have about how so much gear is ugly and unnecessary, and how we would have preferred if they had used gear to recreate old costumes, the one character who I think gear is serving them well is Mileena's masks. I think most of her mask designs are actually good.
They're fine.
No, like, there's not a lot here that I actually thoroughly dislike.
I still wish she had the veil from Deception, but...
Or anything from 9 or X, of course.
Well,
I appreciate the presence of an unmasked option. I was not expecting that out of the bat. I really wasn't. It's cool that we can do it.
I will grant, I did predict she would get Lips mask gear, and she did not.
Thank fucking God.
I am thankful for that. I'm glad they showed the restraint there. There are no MKX lips. Lip fans, go fuck yourself. No, I'm not gonna go that far.
I will. I'll gladly tell them to fuck off.
Well, I have so many fans. You know, I can stand to make more enemies. But no, I think they did a really good job with, like, I don't know, 20 or 25 out of the 30 masks that are here.
I find myself enjoying a lot of her size.
I have a minor complaint about the size.
That's where I'm bothered by the most.
So,
because
I don't like the bone ones. Those are silly.
Well, here's my issue, is that Kitana has size that both look like your standard Raphael sai, where the side prongs are curvy. So she does have plain size. Kitana does. Kitana also has Mileena's size from MKX, and she has Mileena's size from the 3D era, where the prongs where they meet the handle in the middle is a little MK logo. Kitana has those. Mileena doesn't have any of those. She doesn't have her own past side designs, and Kitana does.
You'll get a classic one when we get the MK2 outfit.
I'm sure, but...
Yeah, that is something that they also found in the files, is a more classic curvy-looking sai. As well as, like, her gauntlets, where it just has the nails on them. The actual gauntlet part is missing.
Okay, so she will have plain blank gloves.
Yes.
Interesting.
You know, I do kind of like the one pair of gloves that isn't affected by pallets because it's designed to look like wet meat.
Yeah.
I think that's amusing.
Scrolling through those now.
It's let me find the name of it. Tavernurian Battle Talons? It looks like Soul Edge.
Yeah, a little bit. Still plainly solid. Wouldn't quite call it wet meat, but it's a good look for her?
Yeah,
Question mark.
That's like the only gear in the entire game that is the same color no matter what palette you're wearing.
Freaky. Nice touch.
I like it. I'm torn between whether to put it or one that looks like stitched rags on her Tarkatan skin.
You know, it works with the helmet. The Shao Kahn helmet.
Yeah. That could work.
So what next after gear? Special moves. Are you guys using an MK2 setup, UMK3 setup?
I have...
Trying some of that new freaky shit?
I have, for my primary build, Air Size, Air Teleport Stomp, and the Rolling Thunder, the MK9 ball roll. But I'm probably going to, when the UMK3 skin drops, use Air Size, Air Teleport, and the Playtime combo.
That is my setup for everything. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if you can't amplify the aerial one if you've hit someone with a jump kick already. But I swear to God, I can only get the amplify to come off when they're on the ground and it hits. If I knock them up into the air with, like, a jump kick and I try to amplify the teleport kick, it doesn't come out. Apparently the UMK3 outfit is a Race Against Time event starting on the 24th.
That is this coming Tuesday. So you want to be in the top 5% of how many Towers of Time you've beaten to get that skin. Starting next week.
It should not be that hard, actually. The player base has... it's dropped off a great deal. You don't have to do a lot to get up there.
Well, I'm in the top 4% now, and I had to beat like 40 towers to get there because everybody is doing towers at the same time because the characters just dropped. Next week it might be different.
Well, thing is, once you hit the top 5%, you still got to keep going because you can drop off if you stop.
Yeah, you have to be in the top 5% at the end of the week. So you have to be in the top 5% on Tuesday, December 1st to get that skin.
Get your AI setups ready.
So that's how to get the UMK3 Mileena skin, apparently. I don't know when the MK2 one will drop. It might be in the Crystal store.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that. I've been able to nab them all that way thus far.
It's fine. I don't have any crystals saved up. I'd have to spend $10.
No, I have not spent crystals except for when the retro stuff's come out. I've got...
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I spent crystals on all of the MK2 Girl Ninjas, and then also whenever a Shang Tsung movie skin with the jacket off popped up, I bought those too.
I missed that.
That used up all my crystals. I have like 50 crystals right now.
I have 1,855. And I do have to give that to them. I appreciate it being available via time crystals and not automatically making me drop $10 right away. So she's not a very high damage character, doesn't seem like to me, but I still have a lot of fun using her.
You were also complaining on the Discord the other day that she's nearly crap against Chronica.
No, like if you're fighting Chronica, just use uppercuts. Because Kronika does that thing where she decides she does not want to be part of this combo anymore. Thank you. And and she will do that if there's a gap in your combo. Normal characters won't, Kronika will. So you're going to get like 2 hits out of any Mileena combo, or most of them, and then she'll be like, whoop, okay, no thank you. Just uppercut. She's a bitch to fight with Mileena. I was having trouble. I was.
Yeah, I've only had the AI fight Kronika.
Hmm?
I've only had the AI fight Kronika. I haven't had to deal with that problem.
I've had the AI fight them in really stupid ways, so I like to take care of it myself. Lose this too often enough for my liking. And I have like for most characters, I have like the 30 combo, 30 rushdown setup going. Well, 30 reversal setup going on.
Yeah, I do that too.
It doesn't always work for Kronika because you can't really.
That's fair.
So about that ending.
It's whatever.
There's a thing I want to talk
Tanya
about.
Have a baby somehow.
There's a thing I want to talk. There's a lot of like justification for Tanya Mileena shipping going on in this game.
Well, I would have said anybody who was arguing they weren't a couple in X was crazy. It was already way too obvious. The only thing is, most Mileena fans think they are, like, genuinely in love. And my position is obviously Tanya was using her just like Rain was. Tanya has always, since her introduction, been a character who is based around, like, using sex to manipulate people. She's an evil, betraying sociopath.
Well, maybe not anymore.
First of all, that ending is the universe Mileena would create with the hourglass, alright? That's her perfect world of her own design. So, of course, in that world, Tanya is loving.
There's a Mileena skin called Tanya's Beloved. I don't know how to read into that. Those two words don't seem like they should go together.
I'm not saying that Tanya and Mileena are not a couple. They are. They were definitely canon a couple in MKX.
No, but I agree with that. I just find the notion of them actually having feelings for each other, real feelings.
Mileena has feelings for a lot of people who don't return those feelings but pretend they do.
It's Tanya specifically that's weird to me. Not disapproving of it, I just find it odd. I don't know. The notion of Tanya actually giving a shit about someone other than herself is an odd one. That's just it.
Well, I mean, again, we are seeing... In MK11, we're seeing the relationship solely through Mileena's eyes.
Mileena definitely wants to know where Tanya's body is.
I think it's weird that a collector goes not for any price. Like, what's so special about it?
I don't know why he says that, but I actually find it fucking hilarious. He knows where it is, you can't have it, someone's made a bid on it.
Ew.
Anyway,
it is very ew.
So
I find it funny.
I do have one complaint about that ending, and it's that fucking Michael Bay Ninja Turtle and wife are in it. Stop putting Shao Kahn and wife in things in 11. I don't want them. I don't like them.
There's a lot of intros between Mileena and other characters that just mention Sindel.
Well, so Mileena becomes the goddess of time and creates her own universe. And in the universe she creates, she's still subservient to the two of them?
I guess she still wants to be loved that badly. She's going to do it.
But why is Sindel there? Like, if it was just Shao Kahn, I'd get it. I do not like the pushing of wife in this game. I'm sick of seeing it.
And yes, I am disappointed by just how much they doubled down on all the dumb wife shit in a lot of Rain's... Well, one of Rain's and a lot of Mileena's intros. Ugh, god damn. I really don't want to talk about wife anymore. I just...
Right, see, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to see her. That's why I have a problem with her being in Mileena's ending. That's all. That's what I was saying.
On this we agree.
If I was writing a Mileena ending, Shao Kahn might appear in it, But I would also probably have Mileena go, finally I'm more powerful than you are, Dad, fuck off. Like in Armageddon, where she's like, she turns the castle back over to Shao Kahn when he comes back from the dead, but she's secretly like, but I finally had the throne to myself and he ruined it, fuck him.
Well, she also doesn't say she's going to steal it back or she's going to try to kill him. She knows she has no choice, like no real chance against him. And you could also interpret that as, well, I'm not going to raise a hand against my own father, too. But she does decide to fuck off elsewhere.
I don't know.
So you know what? I can see the whole thing with wife included as her wanting the semblance of a normal family.
I guess.
Whatever passes for what in her eyes.
I guess. I would... At this point, I feel like it's long past time that Mileena should be her own person.
I think that they've made a lot of strides toward that the past couple of games.
Well, all of that progress...
But part of her is always going to be
reset in the next timeline.
We'll see. I think it's pretty consistent with her so far.
Yeah.
I'm just weirded out by Tanya being affectionate towards anyone.
I'm just saying, 12 is another reboot.
I know that.
There is one other Mileena thing that I wanted to say I really, really like. And it's about her moves. It's a visual thing. In MKX, all of her sparkly, glowy effects on her side throw and her teleport and all that stuff had been purple, because she's Mileena and she wears purple.
It's back to being like old school light blue.
Yes. Classically, her glowing special effects on her moves is blue, and they went back to blue, and it looks great.
I also like how she's actually firing like a magic laser out of them instead of actually throwing them.
Well, yeah, that's always kind of been the thing. I don't know if there are any games where she throws them. Normally, out and psi-shaped lasers come out, which is silly, but it's what she's always done.
I thought she threw them in X.
Well, she could, like, throw them on the ground and then teleport to them. I don't know if she threw them in the psi throw. I'd have to go back and look.
I feel like she didn't.
But
this is bothering me now. Hold on.
But yeah, like, the thing is, and you can see this with MK11 Jade, when a character's clothes and their glowy special effects are the same color, it all becomes kind of bland. It's like too much of one color. When the character wears green and does green shit, it's too much green. When the character wears green and does purple shit, or wears purple and does blue shit, it works much better. It's just nicer on the eyes.
We should bring up the dialogue, the voice imitation of Kitana.
That is true. She has two intros in this game where she demonstrates the ability to not sound like she has a frog in her throat and to perfectly imitate Kitana.
It's a really wonderful and welcome addition because, half of it was people going, how can she pretend to be Kitana and sit on the throne and have people believe that's actually her in Deception when she sounds like that? And yet, here you go. Here's her justification. She can do it perfectly when she needs to.
That's true.
I love it.
There were a lot of comments on the Mileena Lost episode that we just dropped a couple days ago, because 11 came out the same day, people played it, and then they went, hey, by the way, these intros are in there. Mileena can, in fact, imitate Kitana's voice, so now you know, and that is nice to see. On the other hand, something we were looking forward to that we talked about in that episode of The Lost that the game has disappointed us on is the interactions between Kitana and Baraka.
Mileena and Baraka,
you're right. It was my bad.
So I'm looking at the MKX trailer. She does actually physically throw them.
Oh, okay, well.
Trailer?
Yes.
Are you watching gameplay footage?
Yes.
Okay, then. Weird. Oh, well, Kunlun does it with his hat and it reforms. Who cares?
Yeah, whatever. So yeah, the Baraka and Mileena intros, at least one of them, does establish that Baraka is interested. But this time around, Mileena is not. We do learn that the Tarkatans have a phrase in their language for mating ritual.
The Fakasrataka! Do you remember your first Fakasrataka? Everyone remembers their first.
I remember my first.
Oh my god, I love it.
To which Mileena responds, "I will never mate with you."
Yeah, well, too bad we know that's the thing that happened. Screw you, John. Maybe not in this timeline, but it certainly is not a thing that never happened.
It has canonically happened in past
Secret Companion.
Which actually, so that kind of makes me. I have a question. When did Chronica take Mileena from? Because everybody else who's dead, she took from MK2, or, the second tournament part of 9. Mileena has many intros where she apparently remembers being on the throne and Kotal and Devora killing her.
Yeah, that's my impression, is that this is like roughly MKX time frame Mileena.
I guess. It just seems odd.
The more you think about it, the more your head hurts.
I mean, again, I'm
they deserve.
My usual stance is that Mileena's not even canonically in the game because she's not in a story mode, but that doesn't mean I'm not overthinking these fucking intros.
Okay, you know what? I have so many questions about. It's with Noob Saibot. And she's like, we've met before. And Noob goes, in the Netherrealm where I consumed your soul. And she says, I'll have back what is mine. What?
Yeah, that doesn't work. Like, so she
What?
currently doesn't have a soul? Or she does, and if she takes it back, she'll have two?
What?
Exactly.
What?
Tired in the writing room.
Fuck is this? I don't.
It's very confusing. That's up there. That's on the scale of stupid things that are not possible. It's on the same level as Kung Lao being the reincarnation of Great Kung Lao.
Oh my god.
Because he's saying that, but he's also summoning Great Kung Lao's ghost to fight for him in his moves. And you can't be reincarnated if Shang Tsung has your soul.
It just
Well, he
raises
died.
so many
Shang Tsung
questions.
died in 9.
Well, yeah, in 11, but Kung Lao was born before MK11. When Kung Lao was born, Shang Tsung had Great Kung Lao's soul at the time. Therefore, reincarnation, not possible!
Reaction to all of this. Just don't think about it too hard. Throw out the shit that doesn't work. Try to enjoy the stuff that does. It doesn't work.
I mean, at that point, you're writing fan fiction, though.
Look, man.
Which I'm not
this game is
against.
built
I am
on
100% for writing fan fiction. I think any fan fiction that any one of us comes up with is going to be better than the official NRS product.
I'd say there's an argument to be made that most of this trilogy is based on fan fiction. But anyhow, I could really use a good fuck us Rataka right now.
I mean, that's my position anyway, is that anybody who writes Mortal Kombat who isn't John Tobias, Ed Boon, John Vogel, or Dan Forden is writing fanfiction. Those are the guys who were there at the beginning. They made MK1. When they make it, it's real Mortal Kombat. When anybody else makes it, even if they're hired by Warner Brothers and being paid to make it, that just makes it fanfiction for a living.
I wouldn't go that far. You know, we've had plenty of people who have done the MK characters a lot of service over the years. It's just that they don't work at NRS currently in the story and plotting department.
Well, no, you're assigning a negative connotation to the phrase fanfiction there when you take issue. Lots of things are fanfiction.
I am saying that
every
negative
Marvel
connotation-
Cinematic Universe movie is technically fan fiction. It's fiction made by fans of Marvel Comics.
Fan fiction also has several well-deserved negative connotations because of many terrible...
But I would specify genre if I was going to complain about those. I would say self-insert fan fiction, Mary Sue fan fiction written by teenagers. That's different than just using the phrase fan fiction by itself.
Sounds defensive of the term of fan fiction in general, which I don't really care about one way or another, but...
I mean, I'm a fan of it. I think that there is a moral obligation that if you're a fan and you're dissatisfied with a product, make your own version of it that does satisfy you.
I was writing MK fanfiction back when I was completely satisfied with the product. It's a thing you do out of passion, whether you like it or not. Some of it's okay, some very small parts of it are great, most of it's terrible.
What I'm trying to say is there are healthy outlets. This
is why people work with Mugen.
That is why people work with Mugen. And there are some Mugen builds I'm a big fan of.
We didn't talk about her friendship. I'm starting to get really attached to the whole teddy bear running joke. You know that? I am.
You know what? I've been attached to the teddy bear since it showed up in 9. I think that was the one positive, lasting contribution that game has had to Mileena's character is that she likes teddy bears.
You think it's canon that she tried to give Scorpion one?
I hope so.
No, it's pretty fucking funny. I mean, if his friendship's in any kind of indication, she passed on the craze. Maybe he collects them now.
I will say, it is curious that his friendship in this game is a big teddy bear, isn't it? I really like the animation when she's setting up her little tea party, where she's like, she puts her hands to her mouth and gasps when the teddy bear falls over, and she claps.
Rapid clapping. She actually looks adorable in a wretched way, and it's hilarious.
They did a good job with that. I'm very happy with that friendship.
Well, I'd say, this DLC pack between Ray and Mileena has been really, really good. I'm enjoying most of it. I truly am.
I think that there is more positive than negative by a much larger margin than usual with these two characters. There are some lingering little nitpicks. For example, it's obvious that they didn't get Rhonda or Carrie Tagawa back to voice more lines. They reuse dialogue in their intros with the new characters.
Some of it's painfully obvious.
Yeah, especially like some of the lines that they reused from Rhonda are really they stand out too much.
Do I look like I came here to bargain? But whatever. I can deal. It's unfortunate, but there's more good there.
It's causing me Injustice 2 flashbacks, and like when I say that, I mean it in the same tone as Vietnam flashback.
See, I clocked out of Injustice 2 after Red Hood showed up. I was done. I don't know how bad
I could have played that game for less than a week and still have bad memories of Batman's intros.
That bad, was it? I don't even remember.
Oh, it was so bad. He had like 3 lines in the whole game.
Push yourself harder.
Oh, there is one thing we should probably mention. Because, Razor, you specifically we both discussed this briefly on The Lost, but we have always wanted to know what, Mileena thinks of Shang Tsung.
That's true.
We get a bit of that here. Not much, but she does know that he's the one who's directly responsible for creating her. I forget who the intro is with, but, she does seem to acknowledge that, her actual father figure and the inspiration for, having it happen. So I guess that maybe she looks at Shang as an uncle or something. The guy who did it.
It's like the doctor who delivered me, maybe.
Yeah, pretty much. So there you go. I can work with that.
I guess.
I think that's pretty.
I feel like from Shang's point of view, because he has so much pride in having created her, I think he would wish that she would show more appreciation or some kind of familial relationship to him.
I don't know about familial, but Shang is always up for appreciation.
Yeah.
He craves sycophancy, let's face it.
That's true. But yeah, I think if we're to take Mileena and Rain and Rambo as the standard of what we can expect in the next pack, which I think we all expect there to be one. Like if this is the level of love and attention to detail they're going to show Sector, Cyrax, whoever else is next, they're in good hands, which I wouldn't have expected I would say when the game first launched. Things have improved.
Smokeman, you were saying something?
I don't remember.
Right, well, there is one major area that I desperately want to be improved.
Oh no, I remember now. It's not that we think it's going to happen, KP3, it is. It was leaked by a store or whatever, like a website listing.
I thought there was something about that it might have been a fake. Because I do remember that leak, because it said it had a price tag, $30, which is more than usual. But I mean, 5 characters,
it's
maybe.
Like Aftermath, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the same price as Aftermath.
Oh, you combine that with a lot of the rumors out there going on about another story mode, and like, this is why I say to hang on with saying Mileena's not canon, because I think that it's still a bit too early.
5 more characters, make the select screen a perfect rectangle, that I can believe. Another story mode really stretches credibility to me.
I wouldn't be surprised. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, there are ways they could get around Ed having said Aftermath was the end of Liu Kang's story, and that they will definitely not have more characters show up to interrupt him from using the hourglass. They could write something else that takes place after he uses it, or that is set in the middle of the existing story mode. The specific scenario...
It's a side story, like, where did Mileena go? Like, we still don't know where the fuck Reptile and Ermac are, and they've never really said anything one way or another, period.
I mean...
So it's just this giant empty space that I think is going to be filled eventually.
If they thought ahead to, like... Because the weird thing about Reptile and Ermac being absent is that's a significant chunk of Kotal Khan's royal court, you know? So if there was an actual story to where they are all this time and not helping Kotal and Aaron out, that could be something, sure. I don't expect it, though.
It could go one way, it could go another. I'm just saying I won't be surprised. And I'd like it to turn out that way. I really feel like one way or another, this game's not going to be done until Reptile's on the roster. At the very least.
I hope so. Because I will say, like, it's weird to see the 3 that are missing in Rain's finisher as if that's some kind of in memory of those who aren't with us, like they're never going to be in the future DLC. You can't really say that because they put Rain in Shang's moves because they didn't think they were going to make him, and then they did.
That's what I'm saying. At this point, it's like yeah, fuck it, let's do it. We've done well enough in sales. It's done blockbusters, gangbusters. I think at this point, they'd be fools not to go all in, and I'm sure it's already being worked on. Now, the one other thing, recent development, that I really wish, that reflects what I think is my biggest problem with the game, is the horrific single-player experience, because everything is modifiers. Everything. So now we have test your luck.
I haven't had the chance to find a key to a test your luck tower yet. I haven't personally experienced that, but we have people on the Discord who have played one, and apparently it's a joke and not a good one. Like, it's on the level of how hard the towers were when the game first launched before they were patched.
Oh, jeez.
Like, this is the kind of thing that makes me go, this game was developed by, like, the single-player experience was made by someone with a background in pay-to-win mobile development, is what this feels like. Like, okay, the modifiers are random, but they're all stacked against you. One of the towers costs $1 million to attempt, and another one costs 9,000 souls. There's nothing unique to be gathered from this as far as I'm aware. Why would you bother?
I think 9,000 is how many souls I have. Like, I could play that tower once and not retry if I lost.
That's it. Like, why would I do this? There's nothing unique to be gained in there, and it's not designed, as far as I'm concerned, so much to give you a challenge. It's designed to suck away your currency. And I'm just not gonna fucking have it.
The rewards aren't even good. Like, you don't get any exclusive stuff that you can't get anywhere else. There's no actual reason to play these towers. They're just exploitative.
I feel like the whole reason it's called Test Your Luck is to maybe say, I don't know, that the rest of Towers of Time isn't so much Test Your Luck as everyone likes to say it is. Ugh.
Yeah, but the definition of test your luck, like when they introduced the concept of test your luck in MK9, it was just a fight with modifiers. This whole game, all of the Towers of Time are test your luck. This is just that, but harder.
Why can't we have normal one-on-one fights?
Would be nice, wouldn't it?
So much more enjoyable. Who did this? Why is the game like this? Why must it be such a horrible fucking grind to unlock everything? To deal with the earthquakes, to deal with fucking explosions on screen, to deal with, like, constantly having your combos drop because they bring in an assist character. Why is this happening? Oh yeah, to encourage you to spend your money on fucking time crystals. Mobile development mentality. Pay to win.
There was a time when one of the things Mortal Kombat was most famous and lauded for was its single-player content.
Chief.
Remember how much fun the Challenge Tower was in 9? Like, genuine fun. Like, it had different modes. It wasn't even all the regular fighting engine. Sometimes it was test your might. Sometimes it was stand here and do this special move against a wave of incoming zombie NPCs. That was a fun fight. Sometimes it was an endurance match against all of the bosses at once. But there weren't any modifiers. The hard part was just because it was the bosses.
I just don't know who thought that this whole single-player experience for 11 would be a good idea.
So sometimes the challenge tower lets you play as the unplayable boss. Like, Goro wasn't playable in 9, Shao Kahn wasn't playable in 9. There were challenge tower missions where you got to play as them. You were the overpowered one. You got to feel what it felt like to be them. It's fun! It's not just to be challenging. Sometimes it's about just fun.
Stupid funny shit, like Reptile wearing a bunch of scrap Cyber Ninja armor. Pitting Ermac against 3 Goros and having him go, we do not think this is very fair.
Sometimes you're Scorpion and you're fighting that you don't want the teddy bear.
Right? Humor.
What happened to that? Sometimes the modifiers didn't actually make a game harder to play, they just made your blood rainbow colors. What happened to that?
No, it's positives and negatives, man. Like I said, I'm grateful that they give us the opportunity to buy Katana, Jade, and soon Mileena's classic outfits in the store just for time crystals. I don't appreciate the fact that this whole game is, like, experience is meant to make me want to buy time crystals. I'm not doing it. I'm sure that's working for some people out there who throw money away like it's, trash, but I can't and I won't.
Well...
And this is why I'm grateful for the AI player option. Because I can't deal with this shit all the time.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's a godsend to have it there, because it's not fun to play the game. So now you can have someone else play it for you. But it's not really fun to watch the AI fight the AI either. It turns the game into a boring game.
Unless you're having Fujin versus Geras matches in which one of them runs back and forth and the other one stares at his fist. I've seen that happen.
I wish I could find someone who looks at me the way Geras looks at his fist.
Have we anything further to say?
I don't think... I mean... So we and other people all across the internet have been complaining about the single player, the towers, since the game launched. And it's too late to change it. They're not going to. They'd have to rebuild the entire fucking game to do that. I just hope they get the message for 12. Please don't do it like this again. Look, we didn't like it when it was in Injustice 2. Because it was in Injustice 2. This isn't the first time it's been like this. Stop building your single-player mode the way you would build a mobile game. It's not fun.
Player retention comes from great games that are fun to play. That's what keeps people coming back. Fun. And you know what? If the Towers of Time weren't like this, I feel like I'd be rejoining the game, revisiting the game more and more between bouts of DLC. Because as much fun as I'm having here with Rain and Mileena now for this month, once I get those costumes, once I've tooled around with them for a little bit, I'm out till KP3, assuming that happens.
You know, the Star Labs missions, the equivalent of the Challenge Tower in Injustice 1, a lot of them were boring training missions, but there's one where you play as Catwoman's cat. And the mission is just jump over these lasers and walk from one side of the stage to the other.
There's another one like that where you play as the Atom.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. It was different. It was creative. It wasn't just the regular fighting game, but we're going to throw a bunch of shit at you. Just make it fun. That's the message.
That's it. Make it fun. It's a good philosophy to have.
I think that's a good note to end the episode on. Just make it fun. That's a positive message for the future.
Well, this stuff is a lot of fun.
That's one we want to send out on the airwaves. Just make it fun.
Some of it is, some of it's not. Really appreciate it when it is. Thank you for Mileena and Rain.
I know Shad won't agree, but thank you for Rambo. I think Rambo...
I'm counting on you to do it, but...
RoboCop and Rambo are the best characters, in my opinion. And I know, like, any statement against them is a statement against the concept of guest characters in general. Of which I sometimes mostly agree. But if you're going to have them, RoboCop and Rambo are the two best designed ones.
Even Joker, like, he's goofy as fuck in this game and it's great.
I don't hate the way they made Joker. I thought I was gonna, and I don't. So I gotta give him props for that.
He gets an amazing Prince reference. Again, the Batman soundtrack. He's like, "All hail the new king in town." I scored Pepsi. I did. That was pretty on the mark, and I loved it.
That was pretty good. All right, I think that's it for the night.
All right, folks. I don't know when our next Nethercast is going to be, but no.
Well, we have plenty of other content to fill out the time. It doesn't always have to be the main show.
I think they missed the main show, though. I can't blame them.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. The main show is the three of us and sometimes Django. And the side content is usually some combination of me and Shad or me and Smokeman. So you're pretty much getting the same thing all the time. What's to miss?
Now. I mean, you know, it was the big show that started us all off doing all these.
Oh, I get. And look, if I mean, obviously the big wish is could we bring Cyborg and Temp back, and I would always be down for that. Cyborg has it now, and he's also said that he's like, I guess I'm kind of a casual fan of the series these days, and MKX, I just don't think really worked for him in a lot of ways. Well, maybe if they do put out Cyborg, he'll get back into, or Cyrax, he'll get back into it. If we get Cyrax, I think he'd show up. I think he would. I certainly hope that Injustice 3 is to his taste, because he did a lot of content for Injustice 2. He was definitely passionate about that, and I'd like to see him, you know, have something to be happy about, games-wise. It's unfortunate, isn't it? Go from a game that he loved, that, I don't know about you, but I was really meh about. No, I regret buying it. I wish that I could have those $60 back. Or, well, it was probably like 90 after DLC.
I got to play as Black Manta in a video game, so I got my money's worth.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it for the little bits of Red Hood, but I am glad I did not pay money for it.
I don't know, again, it goes back to that...
Dr. Fate and shit, like...
Well, what we were saying about the content and the towers not being fun... and the gear, like, especially the way you acquired gear in that game, I felt like I got suckered into something that was exploiting me. I really wish that I had not given that game any of my money, because it was designed as a money trap, and I fell for it, and I feel bad for falling for it. Like, gullible. But hopefully they will listen to criticism, and Injustice 3 will be different and better. I mean, I wouldn't hold my breath as far as things being developed like mobile games goes. I think you can probably put some amount of blame for that on WB. Yeah. Mm.
I mean, it's just the landscape of video games now. Like, that new Avengers game and shit.
Yeah, but that Avengers game bombed so hard.
Yeah, I hope the industry takes that as a lesson. Because guess what? Square Enix is selling out their Western division because of it.
It would be nice if people actually learned from their mistakes, wouldn't it?
You know what doesn't try to sell you shit every 5 minutes? Doom. Doom's nice, isn't it?
That's true.
Doom is nice. I still need to play the new DLC.
Oh, man. Bring aspirin.
Yeah, I hear that it picks up, like, assuming that you've been playing nothing but Doom since launch. And that you didn't put the game down?
I mean, I haven't tried it yet, but I saw in the trailer there's a fight with 2 Marauders at once.
I mean, I've already done that. There is a Slayer gate where you have to do that, I think.
Anyway.
Not even, it's part of the progression. It happens in a room. Have fun with that.
It is what it is.
We're struggling. Let's end it now.
Yeah. See you next time, everybody.
See you, nerds.
Later, folks. Have a good one.
You're still trying to win?